Let's talk about rollercoaster photography. Rollercoaster and/or theme park photography is a specific niche within being a theme park and rollercoaster enthusiast, and it's a fun, nerdy, creative outlet with no specific rules or guidelines to follow. Some people like to document their theme park trips with their friends or their families through photos as preserved memories to cherish forever. Some people like to take it creatively and think of new, funky ways to show off their favourite rides and attractions, whether just for fun or for social media. And then there's also the professionals who have the opportunity to work with theme parks to build their professional portfolios and their images used in the likes of theme park promotional materials. So, you're wanting to know how to start theme park photography, but you don't really know where to begin. Fear no more, because this is How to Take Photos of Roller Coasters and Rides 101, the extended version. Disclaimer! I am a self-taught amateur photographer of 6 years. I am still learning things myself. There is no right or wrong to this hobby. This is solely based on my experience, which I am sharing with you. If you have any advice or input, let us know in the comments. Thank you! Alright, disclaimer out of the way before anyone tries to absolutely fry me. So, the first and probably most important thing here to do photography is having access to a camera. Most mobile phones these days come with incredible cameras. So if you only have access to a mobile phone camera, use that to your advantage. But if you're after an upgrade from a phone, cop yourself a low budget starter camera. So the camera that I use is actually a low budget camera. It is the Canon 2000D. I also have the 75 to 300mm lens, which I use for most of my photos. A large telephoto lens like this is usually pretty good for in theme parks because a lot of your subjects are going to be far away from you. Having a big zoom lens can be really helpful, but it's not a necessity. This is probably one of the most basic camera setups that you can get. You can get these really cheap. It's nothing fancy like a mirrorless camera with all these massive fancy lenses or anything like that, and it works for me and works for what I do. And started with photography can be really overwhelming with all these different things people are throwing at you, different settings, all these different things. It's a lot to take in. Definitely do a lot of research on your camera specifics, but this is what I use and what you can try using for settings. No shoots are going to be the same. So many different factors to roller coasters move at different speeds, weather, lighting, but it's worth just trial and error. I'm going to quickly cover the settings that I tend to use for most of my photos, but keep in mind that all the cameras are going to be different and there are going to be different settings for different cameras, and I am also not an expert in this. Starting with using a high shutter speed between over 800 and 1 over 2000 or even higher is ideal for freezing those coaster trains in action. I usually shoot with an auto ISO, but you may need to manually adjust it if you have a higher shutter speed because it can cause grain on your photos. Aperture, I personally don't really mess with that, and it's usually between 6.3 and 14, but again, you can adjust as you shoot. Focal length will depend on how far the ride is from you, so again, adjust as needed. Use autofocus, it just makes life so much easier. Shoot your photos in RAW. This just preserves the data from the image, making it easier to edit, but do keep in mind that it takes up more storage on your SD card, so carry a spare SD card just in case. So if you're an absolute beginner and you've never taken photos of anything fast moving, I would say start out with just taking photos of cars going up and down the road. It's the easiest way to get used to your camera, trying out all the different settings for fast moving objects, so give that a try. Now all the technical stuff is out the way, let's get to the theme park. So, when you get to your theme park of choice, don't take any photos.
Oh, but Izzy, but this is literally the whole point of the video.
Yes, but you also want to enjoy the theme park that you're at. Get the creds, watch the rides go around, do all this stuff first, especially if it's your first time visiting a park. But while enjoying the park as well, you want to be taking in your surroundings. Look high, look low, look behind you, look all around, because the best views sometimes you don't see unless you're actually looking for them. If you want unique views, look around the area that most people wouldn't usually look at of a ride, but obviously don't go into ride restricted areas. If you want to catch a guest having the time of their life, think about the most intense parts of the rides and where you can see that from. Take weather and lighting into consideration. Think about where the light is coming from, making certain features of the ride stand out. Does it cast interesting shadows? Does it blow out the sky a bit in your photos? Think about that as well. So if you're confident enough with your camera and have all your settings ready and you know what you're going to be shooting, shoot away. Also, don't feel silly when taking photos. We are all silly anyway. We are literally theme park nerds. You are gonna look silly regardless. Don't feel too bummed out if you don't get the photo that you want on the first try. It really isn't that simple, and it is a lot of trial and error, a lot of timing, a lot of patience. It's not a thing that you're gonna get right on the first try. So like I already said, I'm an amateur photographer, and I've been at this hobby of theme park photography for about 5.5 years now. Started back in 2020, literally taking photos on a really old Sony bridge camera, and it was terrible. That camera was so bad. And I couldn't really do much with that camera, but it did have this mad zoom on it. So I became obsessed with still zoomed in photos. So if you go back to my old posts, it's a lot of signage and track. Then I got the camera that I currently use in 2023, and it had a bit more range to it than the old crusty camera that I was using beforehand. I've since found what I enjoy doing, and that's a lot of rider action shots, so it's capturing a lot of expressions and emotions of people being on the rides. But that's just my taste in photography, and not everyone's will be the same. There are loads of different styles that you can do, the techniques you can do, and just try find the thing you enjoy most doing, or just experiment with photography. There is no harm in doing that. So editing. Now, editing is such a great way to elevate your photos to the next level. There are many editing tutorials on YouTube depending on what kind of style you want to go for, kind of vibe you want to go for. I'd want something soft and warm toned, vibrant and lively, moody and contrasting. There's so many options. Like, this is an art form. Not everyone's artwork is going to be the same, and that goes for photography too. Not everyone's photos will look the same. So for editing, I'm going to give you a quick run through of some of my editing process and how I elevate my photos. Okay, so I'm going to use this smiler photo as the example that I'm going to edit. So first is cropping. Cropping is something that I stand by, and it makes your photos look so much better if you crop it in a unique way. Now, the light is something that you definitely want to do to each of your photos, because usually the lighting then in your raw photo will not look how you want it to look. So for a lot of my photos, I'll always edit the highlights and the shadows. The highlight controls the brightness of the lighter parts of your photo. This is helpful if the sky is very blown out, and then the shadows control the brightness of the darker parts of your photos. So if you're bringing out the details underneath the train of a roller coaster, you would increase the shadows. With the other sliders, I tend to just adjust them to each photo, just eyeball it. Colour correction is also another big one. You kind of just adjust those as you're going along. But my thing with the colours is to adjust them individually, kind of get them to a realistic colour. This again obviously depends on the style of like photo that you kind of want the outcome to be, but this is more like my personal editing style. If you've took a photo of a roller coaster with black or like grey track, it can sometimes turn out a bit bluey purple colour. So you might have to make some masking layers like I've done here. Masking layers also come in handy because you can select the subject from the backgrounds and you can edit those individually. Then is on to like the kind of detailed parts. This will mainly just sharpen up your image and bring back more of the quality and detail to it. You can denoise the image, which is like getting rid of the grain on your photos. You can either do that automatically or you can do that manually. And then removing the chromatic aberration, which is like the kind of purpley or green tint that you sometimes get around your photos. And then that is basically it. It is a lot of just like trying different things and dragging the different sliders and seeing what works best for the image. But yeah, that's a complete full edited photo by me. Well, I hope that wasn't completely useless. But now I'm gonna yap about my favourite photographers! There are so many amazing photographers in the theme park community. There are so many different styles, so many different types of photography. So I've picked a range of photographers. This is just a few of them, this is not all of them. So let's start with Thrill Riders, Marcus Thrill Riders. Who doesn't know him? Come on. A lot of his work is like capturing theme parks in unique ways that you've not really seen the rides before. He's been doing a lot of like the wide angle lenses recently, and those shots are so cool. He does a lot of professional work for parks, and so if you've got like theme park apps or see some signage or promotional materials, a lot of the photos are actually by him. Yeah, his work is just genuinely so sick. He's probably one of the most well-known theme park photographers out there. Another incredible professional photographer is Coaster Tog. It's the Tog way. Come on. on. Like, his photos are just stunning, genuinely. He's also got some incredible like nighttime shots which are like unbelievable, by the way. He just makes theme parks photography look so easy. All of his photography is just downright stunning. I think my favourite photo is that one of Hyperia with the massive A38 in the background. That is an insane shot. Genuinely, that is my favourite shot by Photog. I have some more photographers who are quite underrated, so I will have all their links in the description below, so I suggest you all go and check them out and give them a follow. So we have Ollie Caffeine Splash. Right, his work is criminally underrated. His pictures are so interesting. They're so different to any other photographer that I've seen before. There's just massive variety of techniques and these really weird angles that you will not usually see these rides from. And then like the actual visuals, it's like really bold and vibrant, but with like this really dark, moody kind of tone to it. It's really cool. I really like it. Shout out Ollie, you're the goat. Editing is here. Can we literally have a really counter, because I seem to not be able to use any other describing words. Next is one of my friends, launches loops and lap bars. He takes all of his photos on his phone, so you can't tell me that you can't take some incredible photos using a mobile phone, because his work, stunning. For phone camera stuff, great use of editing as well. It's great to see when people use creative editing in their photos. Like, your photo does not have to be the exact one that you have shot. You can edit it and make it this whole new art piece, and this is what he does really, really well. Next, we've got Theme Park Jazz. He uses a variety of techniques across photography. Like, you'll see so many different compositions. It's really interesting. Each photo is really different, but also they're really well shot. And the editing it always has this like golden tone to it, like a golden hour kind of vibe. It's so cool. I really like that. Another really underrated photographer who I've just discovered at the minute is Sunset Coasters. And as their name might suggest, they do take some incredible sunset photos. I've seen some amazing ones of Hyperia. I also think the use of negative space in their photos is so cool. I don't really see too many people do that who I think are really good photographers. They do it so well. There's quite a few different like styles that they kind of go for, and they've got all of it. Another great photographer is Ride Through My Lens. Again, like all these photographers, a great portfolio of work. A lot of them have this like same kind of colour profiling to them, which just makes it look so unified. As much as I love like vibrant photos, I really like these dark photos, like these dark moody photos. They're so cool. They go well with these like dark intense themed coasters, but it also gives them like this soft warm glow to it, and it's so dreamy like. And then we've got Coaster More. I've only just recently found his work. He uses mixed photo like media. He uses a lot of film and digital. It's so unique. I've not really seen anyone do anything like this. Using film, capturing roller coasters, but still some incredible photos. Like, honestly, they're so cool. Let me give his account a check out, because this is so unique and so different. Well, I think I've covered most of what I wanted to in this video. If you have any input at all about roller coaster photography, theme park photography, any kind of photography, let me know in the comments, because I've definitely not covered every single thing. Yeah, again, I am not an expert in this. This is just what I know, my experience, so don't come for me, please. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.